As you know, Title III and Title V of the Higher Education Act provide grants to strengthen and support these institutions. Given the challenges that many of these schools face, grants from these programs will continue to play an important role in helping them. Funding for these programs has increased significantly over the past 10 years, almost tripling from $230 million in 1999 to $681 million in 2009. Last year, we again reported on our long-standing concerns with education's oversight of these grants. Today, I will discuss the Department's progress in addressing those concerns. In summary, education has made some progress in implementing a systematic approach to grant monitoring and technical assistance, but much work remains to be done. GAO and Education's Inspector General have recommended multiple times that education implement such an approach to better evaluate the performance of grantees. For example, in 2004, we recommended that education complete its electronic monitoring system and training programs to ensure its monitoring plans target at-risk grantees. In our recent report, however, we found that while education has taken some steps to better target monitoring, many of its initiatives had yet to be fully realized. Currently, education is still in the process of modifying its monitoring approach. To its credit, we found that education has made progress in automating its monitoring tools and developing risk-based criteria. The redesigned system brings together information about our school's performance in managing all of its higher education grants, increasing education's ability to assess the risk of grantee noncompliance. Another feature of the system is a monitoring index that identifies institutions that need heightened monitoring or assistance. Education has also taken steps to improve the technical assistance it provides to grantees and develop mechanisms to routinely collect and use grantee feedback. Despite progress in these areas, we found that education still lacked a coordinated approach to guide its monitoring efforts. The Department recently developed a draft monitoring plan for Title III and Title V programs, but it has not consistently developed realistic and measurable targets for each of the activities in the plan. For example, education commits to offering physical monitoring training, but it has not established measurable targets for how many staff will receive the training or how it will determine the effectiveness of the training. Without a comprehensive approach to monitoring, education lacks assurance that grantees appropriately manage federal funds, increasing the potential for fraud, waste, or abuse. We identified over $140,000 in questionable expenditures at 4 of the 7 institutions where we conducted financial site visits. For example, at one institution, we identified significant internal control weaknesses and over $105,000 in questionable expenditures. These expenditures included almost $80,000 for student field trips to locations such as amusement parks. Grant funds were also used to purchase an airplane global positioning system, even though this school did not own an airplane. Education had recommended that we visit this school as an example of a model grantee. We referred the problems we found at this school to Education's Inspector General for further investigation. In response to our recommendation, the Department is following up on each of the questionable expenditures we identified during our visits. In conclusion, Education has taken steps to respond to our recent recommendations to improve grant oversight, but it is too early to tell if the Department has fully embraced a comprehensive, risk-based approach to monitoring. The questionable expenditures we identified at some schools demonstrate the importance of education having an effective monitoring and technical assistance program in place. Targeting oversight and assistance to grantees with the greatest risk is critical to ensuring that grant funds are used to improve institutional capacity and student outcomes. To do this effectively will require education's sustained attention and a long-term commitment. We will continue to track the Department's progress in fully implementing our recommendations. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my prepared remarks. I would be happy to answer any questions that you or other members of the subcommittee may have.